Hello everyone, in this video we'll be talking about microphones. We're talking about everything you need to know for you to get the best possible sound out of them into your mixing console. So let's check it out. Microphones are the starting point for capturing sound, and understanding how they work, where to place them, and which type to choose is key to achieving great live sound. I might even argue that the choice of microphone is more important than the choice of mixing console. A microphone is a device that converts sound waves into electric signals, which is then sent into our mixing console. Now, different microphones have different internal components, and this is where things get interesting. Now, there are several types of microphones, each with unique characteristics that make them suited to different tasks. The most common types you use in live sound are dynamic microphones and condenser microphones. Dynamic microphones are the most common types you'll find in live sound. This is because they are durable, quite resistant to feedback, and they are great for handling high pressure sound levels. They are also very rugged. They can take quite a beating and still be fine. For example, this Shure SM58 has a dented pop shell because it has actually handled a lot and yet still works. Now, dynamic microphones work using a moving coil attached to a diaphragm. Now, the coil moves in a magnetic field, generating an electric signal. And because of their robust build and the fact that they're rugged, they are perfect for live environments where they can take a beating, like I just mentioned. The applications of a dynamic microphone are vocals. They can be used for drums as well as guitar amplifiers. Basically, whenever you need to hold the mic for any performance, then you should use a dynamic microphone. Condenser microphones are more sensitive and provide a broader frequency response than dynamic microphones, making them ideal for capturing detailed sound. Now, they're often used for acoustic instruments like violin or stringed instrument. Basically, they are used for overhead drums as well, and even vocals in quieter settings. Like in the studio. Condenser mics work by using a capacitor, that's like two metal plates in an electric field, to convert sound into electric signals. And because they are more sensitive, they require phantom power, which is typically provided by the mixing console to operate. Now, moving on to some important stuffs. When selecting a microphone, it is not just about the type. You also need to consider the microphone's polar pattern. A polar pattern refers to how the microphone picks up sound from different directions. So let's break down the three most common patterns. There is a cardioid, the omnidirectional, and the bidirectional. A cardioid microphone picks up sound primarily from the front, while rejecting sound from the side. It makes it great for isolating a single sound source like a vocalist while minimizing background noise or feedback. A cardioid polar pattern is also known as a unidirectional polar pattern. And if you look at the chart, it's kind of like a heart shape because it accepts sound from the front and fades a little bit from the sides, rejects sound from the back. This is what you will use almost all the time for live sound applications because you've got speakers everywhere and you don't want the mic to be pointing at speakers causing feedback. You want the mic to point at the sound source and reject every other sound. The other type is the omnidirectional microphone. We usually don't use the omnidirectional pickup pattern in live sound engineering. An omnidirectional microphone picks up sound equally from all directions. While this provides a natural sound, it is less useful in noisy environments because it captures everything around it. So this isn't what you would want to use in a live sound situation because it will just be inviting feedback. An example is this Sennheiser lavalier microphone, the MKE2EW. Basically, an omnidirectional microphone, if it's used in live sound at all, is just for recording room ambience or large choirs, but mostly we use cardioid microphone for what we want. Finally, there is the bidirectional pickup pattern, which is also known as the figure 8 pickup pattern. This picks up sound from the front and from the back, but rejects sound from the side. This is useful if you're recording two sound sources at once, such as a duet or a conversation between two people. Again, we usually don't use this in live sound. I've never used a bidirectional microphone in live sound situation before. Choosing the right microphone for a sound source depends on both the instrument and the environment. So let's take a look at a few examples. Now here's an example of how a cardioid microphone works. This is the Shure SM58, and as you can see, it picks up my sound perfectly from the front. But if I rotate the microphone and turn it to the side, it rejects the sound a little bit. And when I turn it to the back, it rejects the sound completely as well. And when I turn it back to the front, it accepts my sound. Let's test out an omnidirectional microphone. This is a condenser microphone, so I have to turn on phantom power. Yep, check 1, 2. Now this microphone picks up sound from the front, and when I turn the microphone to the side, there is no noticeable drop in my volume. And when I turn it to the back as well, it also keeps sound going. So this is a proper omnidirectional microphone. We usually don't use this for live sound because of feedback, like I've said before. And this microphone basically is a tuning microphone we use. DBS has for tuning their speakers using the DBS DriveRack PA2. I happen to have it, and it's quite handy for this demonstration. Now let's talk about using microphones for different applications. For vocals, you want to use a microphone that has a pop shield. Now a pop shield is simply what I've got here on this microphone. It basically helps prevent wind or air from disturbing the mouth, so you wouldn't hear the wind noise or the pop that come out of the mouth, the P and the B sound. We call it plosives. So this Shure SM57 microphone is a dynamic microphone, has almost the same kind of capsule that the Shure SM58 has, and it can also be used for vocal applications. But in a live sound situation, you want to use one that has a pop shield, or put a pop shield inside the Shure SM57, so you could use it just to be able to keep the plosive B and P sounds in check. Also, when using microphone for handheld purposes, you want to use a microphone that has a very little handling noise. That's why condenser microphones are not really good for handheld applications, because they have lots of handling noise. When you move your hands or move the microphone around, they have quite some noise, and that the vibrations can transfer as noise into your audio signal. But also within dynamic microphones, for example, this is the Shure SM58 I'm using. I've said that how many times. And this is also a dynamic microphone, the Sennheiser E606. Although primarily used for miking instruments, you can use it for audio. So this is how the Sennheiser microphone sounds, and this is how the Shure microphone sounds. The two things about this microphone is the Sennheiser has more handling noise than the Shure microphone. So just test both of them with my thumb. That's the Shure, that's the Sennheiser. So if I move the Sennheiser around with my hand, it makes more noise than when I move the Shure with my hand. Still on the topic of microphone handling, another thing I want to talk about is the way you place the microphone to your mouth. Now, these are cardioid microphones. Most of the microphones we use in live sound anyway, they are cardioid microphones. So you want to put the microphone on axis. You want to place the sound source on axis to the microphone. When you go outside of the pickup pattern, you are now off axis. So you want to place the microphone where it can pick up sound. And also you don't want to place it too close to your mouth and too far away from your mouth. You want to put it about 2 inches away from your mouth. If you don't know what 2 inches is, good rule of thumb is the microphone should be about your 1 fist away from your mouth. And that's how, that's the right spot to keep the microphone. Avoid cupping the mic like this or like this. That's very bad microphone practice, especially this one. I see it lots of times. Sometimes when the minister has the anointing has entered, it does this. And it's the wrong way. It basically converts the microphone from a unidirectional or a cardioid microphone to an omnidirectional microphone. And this causes feedback. There is no use to this except you're a beatboxer who is just trying to get your sound. Another thing we have about microphone is what we call the proximity effect. And this is when you move the microphone closer to your mouth, the low frequency becomes amplified. And when you take it farther away from you, it becomes thinner, and then there'll be no low frequency sound. So you need as a user of the microphone or as a sound engineer, you need to speak to your team on how to place the mic so that don't get much low end, or don't hit the mic to get too low end, and don't take it far away to miss out on the essential parts of the sound you want to amplify. Before I move away from using microphone for vocals, I want to talk about microphone frequency response chart. Now, the frequency response chart is kind of like the EQ graph you have in a digital mixing console, where you have the frequency from 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz, like you can see on your screen, and then you have a relative power on the y-axis. So this just tells you how the microphone responds to different frequencies. And it's very important that you check this for all the microphones you're using, so you know what microphone to use for what purpose. For example, here are two frequency graphs. The one on the left is the frequency graph for a kick drum microphone, which is a Shure Beta 52A, while the one on the right is the frequency response chart for the vocal microphone I've been using, the Shure SM58. And as you can see, the one on the left has a higher response at the low end, and there is a low roll-off at the roll end for the Shure SM58. If you use the Shure SM58 to mic a kick drum, then you're inviting trouble. Moving on from vocals, miking drums. Well, because the drum is a very versatile instrument and has lots of parts to it that focus on different frequencies, you want to use different kinds of microphone for it. So we've mentioned the kick drum before. The Shure Beta 52A is a very good microphone to mic the kick drum. Now, this microphone has an extended low frequency response. It's quite good for low frequency, and it has the pop shield, because when you put it in the kick drum, especially when you have a cutout in the kick drum, there are lots of air that go out. You want a pop shield for that situation. Another microphone I use quite a lot for kick drum is the Shure Beta 91A. This is a boundary condenser microphone, so you just place it flat inside the kick drum. You don't really need to worry much about the pop shield because it's already inside the kick drum, and it uses the drum shell to also form part of its sound. It's a very great mic for that. For the toms and the snare, because they're quite somewhere in the mid to high frequency range, you are very good with using probably a vocal microphone for it. But a microphone without a pop shield might be great, just so that you can then have the microphone in a very small format. It doesn't have to be very big because you don't have the pop shield on it. But one wide without the pop shield also have to be able to withstand taking a hit. This Sennheiser E604 works well for toms and for snare drums. I use this Shure SM57 is a well-known microphone for miking snare drums, and it doesn't have a pop shield as well, but it's very rugged and can take a hit. For the overheads, because you need a microphone that's quite sensitive and should be able to handle the high frequency of the cymbals and reproduce them properly while still being able to capture all of that kits and give you a complete sound. So you want a microphone that has a very wide frequency response, then a condenser mic will be great for that. You can use a pencil condenser like this. There's the AKG C451B, or you can even use a large diaphragm condenser microphone for it. So the condenser mics are usually the better ones for overhead. Dynamic microphones don't have the sensitivity of condenser microphones and wouldn't be very suitable for overhead microphones. All the microphones here for the drums and for the vocals I've talked about, they are all cardioid microphones because you want them focusing on where you want the sounds to come from, the sound source that is. For other instruments like guitar amplifiers, dynamic mic work for them, but condenser mic also work for those situations. So it's best that you use what you have or experiment with different types if you have them at your disposal. Microphone placement is another thing you need to consider to be able to get the best sound possible. If you're going for a natural sound, then you need to consider where you need to place the microphone. For example, placing this mic, a snare drum microphone, closer to the rim of the snare, you get the ringing sound more than if you place it towards the center, pointing at the center, then you get a more deeper sound of the entire body of the snare drum. Same thing with miking a guitar amplifier, for example. Putting the mic towards in the middle gives you a deeper sound, but placing it towards the side a little bit might sound a little bit more natural and not really deep as much as you have in the middle. There is no right way to do it. It just depends on what you're going for and what sounds best for your mix. So thank you very much for sticking around till the end of this video. I'm covering microphone in detail in my audio course. I have covered microphone in detail in my audio course, The Fundamentals of Live Audio Engineering. And if you haven't signed up for the waitlist yet, because at the moment of filming this video, I haven't officially launched it, then do so. And if you're watching this video and the course is already out, then I also have it linked in the description, the link for you to sign up for it. Thank you so much for sticking around till the end once again. I'm Kelvin. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.